Hi, my name's Nikki. I'm the Obsessive Bookseller, and welcome to today's book haul. I feel like I haven't bought a lot of books lately, at least in the last month and a half. I got a lot of gift cards and book money for Christmas, so I spent a whole bunch right afterwards, but then, yeah, since then I haven't really bought a lot. But, okay, I'm going on a mini vacation in March, and maybe sort of kind of figured out that there are a lot of used bookstores where I'm going, ones I've never been to before. So I'm probably going to be bringing home more books for that. Like before, that used bookstore trek was so much fun to share, so I'll probably do another version for this latest trip. But yes, so excited. But I've got all these books here that I need to showcase. And also, if you've been following my channel, I've been rearranging my unread section, and I'm actually currently in the middle of filming that when I realized that I need to have shared these books to incorporate them in what I'm doing here, because I don't want to finish that colossal project and then turn around and have to add more books because I forgot that they were sitting in a pile. So, short story long, let's look at some books. The first thing I picked up is the first two books in the Foundry Side series by Robert Jackson Bennett. I went rogue in January off my TBR and read this one and absolutely loved it. One of the most delightful fantasy books I've read in ages. And I don't understand what's going on in the publishing world right now. It seems like historically, if something was available in hardcover, it was available for like a year or two at least, like a few years in backlists, maybe it went to bargain, whatever. But this one was not available new anymore, even though it came out relatively recently. And so paid normal price for Shorefall, paid kind of an astronomical fee for this one. But I liked it enough that it's worth it, and I'm at the point in my collection process where I can justify paying just a little more for a book if I know that I've loved it and read it. I would never pay that premium price for a book that I haven't read. Oh no, wait, I did. Okay, speaking of books that weren't available anymore, new, but I paid a premium for and I haven't read it yet, I bought The Shadow of the Gods, book one in a new series by this author. I am just now dipping my toe into the waters of John Gwynne and really loving it so far. So I thought, okay, worst case scenario, I buy it at a premium and end up reselling it because I hate the series. But if I end up liking it as much as I hope I will, I'm going to want a copy. Plus, we're reading it for book club. I knew I wanted one. So yeah, eat my own words there. I bought this and I'm ecstatic that I've got it on my shelves. It's a really nice copy. Next, a book outlet purchase, which not sponsored, even though I mention them quite a bit. So, call me. But Julie Turnita, responsible for some of my all-time favorite sci-fi novels, has The Gossamer Mage, and it's a fantasy novel. I had no idea this one was even written. I followed this author on several platforms and somehow missed this one. So, hardcover, bargain, sold. Next, I picked up Fiends of Nightmaria. I am not very far in the Malazan series, but I'm absolutely loving it so far. And I saw this hardcover on sale at really cheap. I'm like, wow! A Steven Erikson hardcover for like $3. Oh my gosh, I have to have that. And then got it and realized it's a novella. Isn't it cute? So that explains the price. I'm still happy I have it, but perhaps may not have needed to buy it right then. But can't go wrong with an Erikson hardcover. At the same place, I also picked up True Bastards by Jonathan French. I read and loved Gray Bastards. It took me by surprise how much I liked that book. I went in kind of like, it's going to be cheeky, but it's probably not going to offer a lot of substance. And then somewhere around the halfway point, whoa, got really good. And it took a while for this one to come out, and it's been long enough that I'm probably going to have to reread before continuing. And I know the third one is out. I'm not sure if it's a final book in a trilogy or if the series is going on beyond that, but it's probably one of those that I'm going to sit tight on for a while and see what else is released and then maybe go from there and reread. But yeah, like this one. And then aside from the hardcovers that I picked up, my favorite thing I bought, the Malice Faithful and Fallen series by John Gwynne. These are beautiful, chunky trade paperbacks. And the only thing that would make them better is if they were hardcovers, but don't even try to buy those these days. Over the last few years, I've been mostly buying books that I know that I've read and loved and want to add to my collection. And I spent very, very little money on at least full-priced books that I was really interested in reading. But, with rearranging everything lately, I decided that I would like to start bringing in some of the books to look at on my shelves that I know I'm really highly interested in picking up sooner than later. Not looking at more than like a year out. I'm hoping to get through this series this year. But yeah, I indulged myself. I let myself buy some books that I haven't read yet and the whole series, so this is a big gamble if I end up not liking it, but as I've mentioned in a few other videos, I'm about halfway through the first one, and so far so good. He's a great writer. He has my faith in his ability to tell a good story, and so buying that hardcover, I didn't know that at the time, but I'm resting more like assured now. I picked up from Book Outlet Gates of the Stone by Angus MacAllan. Gates of Stone. I love animals. I'm really drawn to anything that looks that freaking cool. I don't know much about this book. I did a little bit of research on Goodreads before buying it, and it doesn't have absolutely stellar ratings, but it looked like something that I wouldn't mind hanging on to on my shelves to maybe eventually give it a go. I also bought The Name of All Things by Jen Lyons. It's book 2 in the Ruin of Kings series. I have the first one on my shelves. I haven't read it yet. I've seen very polarizing reviews for it. And books 2 and 3 were also available, but I'm just, okay, don't go hog wild. Stick to just maybe buying the second book because there were fewer quantities of it, and maybe try reading the first one before you invest in the other two. Maybe. This is my show of self-restraint when it comes to bargain books. Very pleased with myself. It's one I'm looking forward to reading at some point. Tell you which side of the fence I land on with it. And finally, I bought The Last Emperor, one of the books in the Collapsing Empire trilogy by John Scalzi. I really like this author. I kind of wish I had been picking up these books before this point, where this was the only one available on bargain, but I am planning to start the first book relatively soon, and I thought, it's a pretty safe bet that I'm going to like it. I love this author. It's come very highly endorsed from people who know what kind of stuff I like. I figured, can't go wrong. I've noticed this is a new thing. Let me show you. So look at the size difference in these hardcovers. This is a very new thing from publishers. And the price point on this is still as if it were a full size, $26.99 retail. And so that tells me that they have finally figured out that they can cut production costs and still charge top dollar for the novels. Which, I get it, margins, everybody has to get paid. This is where the only income is at, is with these trade papers and hardcovers. But still, it's a good thing they look super cute on the shelves, or else I'd be protesting a little more. I just opened the back of the book. That right there is exactly what Scalzi epitomizes to me with his writing. Doesn't take himself too seriously. I love it. So there's my modest little book haul. I am not sure what the next one will bring, but I've still got some space in here, so we'll see. I know it may not seem like it, but I am starting to get really picky with the types of things that I'm bringing home. That Book Outlet order is one that I had been compiling for months and gone through hundreds and hundreds of titles, and then I get it down to a short list in my cart, and then from there, make cuts even further just to get it down to the stuff that I think I might actually read within a reasonable time frame, and authors that I know are already solid reads for me. Yeah, it must be the budding minimalist in me where I feel like I have to justify my purchases, but everything here pretty intentionally picked up. Books are really the last frontier for me. I've kind of downsized buying and everything else in the rest of my home, but books are still the weakness. And if I can find some awesome hardcovers for series that I've read and loved on my book trek, I am very much not going to set any limits on myself for picking them up. Because I haven't been buying other crap for the rest of my house, my BOA money it's what we call it, has been just accumulating. So I actually have a fairly good chunk of cash to spend on books on this trip. So wish me luck. Stay tuned. We are going sometime in the middle of March, and then I'll probably have a video probably in April. Thank you so much for joining me on this book haul, and I hope to catch you next time. Bye.